Hello, guys. Still setting up. How you doing? How you feeling? If you're watching the replay, how are you doing? How are you feeling? This is so amazing. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. So I am on here just a little bit early. So as you come on, just let me know where you're coming on from. If you see me looking over here, because this is where my computer is, and I want to look at the chat, but also talk to you guys. We're just going to sit in the vibes and see how we're feeling. Ooh. I'm gonna turn on some music while I wait, while we wait. Here from London. Oh, that's so amazing. I love that it's so vast and so many people around the world turning on. Just some beats in the background just to get some things going. Just get a vibe going. How are you feeling today? Spirit of the moon, how are you feeling? How are you doing? This is so fun. I'm so excited for today. Whoop, whoop. Let me know where you're coming in from, how you doing, how you feeling today. We just started, just began. I started the live a little early. Started a little early just because I was so excited. Just because I was so excited. Oh my goodness. And if you're tuning in right now and you've signed up and you know that you've signed up, or if you're just a general subscriber of my YouTube channel and seeing that we are going live, I'm feeling expanded today after a lot of contraction in the last few months, really resonating with your work. Thank you so much. I have been feeling a lot of contraction as well. I think it's just a collective energy, a collective shift, us feeling the new waves of consciousness and new codes that are trying to come through. And you feeling the contraction just shows that you're not actually resisting it, you're not repelling it, you're not running away from your work, and that's just so beautiful. That's so beautiful to see. So, and I think it's so like funny, something just came into me now, is just seeing where that contraction leads you, seeing how it pulls you in new and different directions. And that's what really understanding and knowing your abundance is about, because it's not about allowing yourself to stay small. It's not allowing yourself to stay contracted, but knowing it's just a phase, knowing it's just a cycle, knowing it's just a moment. So yeah, and so we're starting now. It's been like a minute or so. More people should be coming in. I'm feeling how they're coming in. Let me know how you're feeling, what you expect to get out of this training, this transmission, and what kind of business you're in. Like, what do you do? Because this is for like mystical entrepreneurs, spiritual conscious women, people stepping up into their feminine power, into their fierce leadership, integrating like energetics, masculine energetics in a divine way, feminine energetics in the divine way, and just integrating the totality of their essence. So I would love to know what kind of business you're in, what kind of passions you have, how you're feeling, what you expect to get out of this transmission, just as I'm letting a few more people come on, because we did just version. I'm really more about connecting and integrating and implementation, not just regurgitating information. So it might be some things to take notes on, but I don't really like putting it into slides. I really like just speaking from the heart, speaking from what has been created, seeing what's coming through, and just the way that it comes through for me. Like that, slides are just seeming really limited, and I never really follow the slides when I even do try to create them. But today, this problem that we're being solved in this overall 4-day immersion is really, as I mentioned earlier, embodying the totality of your essence, really getting to the root of your abundance and getting to the root of what's blocking your abundance, getting to the vision that you would love to reach. I'm finally ready to come out as a breakup coach. Been working on my craft for quite a few years now. I also run retreats that are focused on balancing the masculine and feminine energy. That's beautiful. And when you say breakup coach, is it like recovering from a breakup or getting them to break up with somebody that's not in like alignment with them? I love seeing the different people's businesses, because it's just so cool to see what people are doing and how they're healing and helping others. I'm going to turn this music down just so we can actually get into the nitty grittiness of this transmission. And if you see me looking over here, it's just because I'm looking at the chats and my notes and just really making sure, because I want to make sure this is connected and integrated. I'm not just going to be spewing information at you. I really want this to be a valuable, helpful experience. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat below. I'll be looking at them periodically so that we can just actually continue this conversation. So as I was saying before, this training, this transmission, this immersion is really to uncover different parts of yourself, uncover different parts of your abundance, uncover your vision and in what ways you have strayed from your vision. And ultimately, the ancient laws and principles of luxury, principles of opulence, principles of abundance and building wealth, and how you can actually integrate that in a way that feels in alignment with you, that doesn't feel so forced, that doesn't feel so structured, and doesn't feel so limiting. It's about dropping the labels, it's about dropping the limitations. It's really about dropping into yourself and coming home to your wholeness and creating from that space, creating from a space of wholeness. And that place of wholeness, that place of embodiment, that place of following your vision to totality is the way that you're taking back your power. And how much power you have is literally directly related to how much money you can hold. And I'm going to break that down because it's going to seem like it doesn't. Who just came in? Here from Costa Rica. I'm passionate about transforming the way people nourish themselves with food and plant medicine. Oh, that's such a good one. I love that. I'm actually recently trying to learn more about my own health. So that is definitely something that is needed and something that is not taught. I love that. So what was I saying is about how much money you hold is directly related to how much power you're able to wield. And think about that. Think about that word power. Think about wielding power. What comes up in your body? What comes up in your mind? What comes up in your thoughts? How have you already begun to judge that statement? The statement of power and holding power, wielding your own power, stepping into your power, trusting yourself and your power. Do you feel powerful right now? How much power have you felt like you do not have when it comes to money? How much control do you feel like you don't have? How much contraction do you feel in your body when you think about money, when you think about power, when you think about trusting yourself, when you think about leadership? What starts to come up in your body? What starts to come up for you? What kind of thoughts, what kind of beliefs? Because these are the invisible aspects. These are the things that are blocking the root of your abundance and stopping your abundance tree from growing, so to speak. Because these are the roots. These are your foundations. These are your beliefs. These are how your behaviors are shaped on a daily basis. And it's very easy to be aware of that concept and a completely different thing to actually integrate that in every single moment, integrate that in every single exchange, integrate that in every single transaction. Because when you're doing that, then you're actually integrating the energetics of money, integrating the energetics of prosperity, really becoming abundance and prosperity itself, becoming the embodiment of that, feeling that frequency in your body. We keep, like, in so many videos on YouTube about how can I reach the frequency of abundance? How can I hit the frequency of abundance? What is the frequency of abundance? And there's no like 7 hertz, 8 hertz, like all of those binaural beats are beautiful. But the frequency of abundance is just knowing that you are powerful, knowing that you can create, knowing that you have the ability to magnetize with ease, knowing that you have the ability to help people, knowing that you are divinity, knowing that you have the ability to create without shame, without judgment, without it needing to look like this, knowing that it is already whole right now. And anything else that you do just adds on top of that wholeness. It fills up your bucket. It pours on top of. It is not something that you need to search, that you need to have. When I have money, then this becomes possible. It's already possible. If you have the thought, if you have the conscious thought, if you have the subconscious thought, if you have the pull and the urge to do something, to create something, to go about something, then you already have exactly what you need right now to start making that possible. Every step you take is a step in the right direction because it is leading you back to harmony, leading you back to your karmic balance, leading you back to your innate wealth. And I'm going to be using these words a lot because they're going to get programmed into you. You're going to know that you're innately abundant. You're going to know that you can create the prosperity that you desire, and you need to define what that looks like for you. For you, and not what bro marketer, this coach, this industry, this society says wealth and abundance should look like, what success should look like, how your business should be run, how you create money, how you create offers, how you create products. None of that is fact. They are all opinions of what worked for this person or what didn't work for this person. I'm never going to tell you that everything I say is right or everything that person says is wrong. It's all about what resonates with you, and take what you want and trust your own energy. And that's your power. That's your potential. That's how possibility is created, by trusting what you feel in your body as a feminine being, as a feminine expression, getting into that yin energy, getting into that yoni and womb space, that space of creation, that void space, that darkness where literally anything can be created. That's why it is a secret, just because it is unknown, just because it is not understood, just because it has yet to be created. And please type a yes in the chat box if this resonates with you, or type what you were feeling earlier when we were talking about that power, when we were talking about that trust. What comes up in your body? What comes up in your body? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about money when somebody talks about it? Does it make you contract? Does it make you expand? Is it something like, okay, yes, I want that, but not fully believing it is 100% possible for you? Or even on the flip side, you could be holding the burden of needing to be the one to drag your lineage up, being the one that needs to create generational wealth so everybody after you can be set up. I know I used to have this really strong burden on my back. Like I was the one that needed to fix everything. I was the one that needed to create the money. It was all my responsibility, putting unnecessary pressure on myself, putting unnecessary weight on myself. And that steers away from my own vision. That steers away from your vision. That steers away from your mission and your calling. All your soul knows is what it desires to experience. And your soul knows at a soul level that you are abundant, that you are powerful, that you can create. And that's why you came down here in a human experience, to have that limitation, to remember how you can create, to break past those barriers, to break past those boundaries. And then magnetizing becomes easy. It becomes flowy. It becomes like a stream. It just happens out of nowhere. And it seems so magical. It seems so, I was checking the chat box. I really want this to be interactive, so please do not be scared to use the chat box. I know some people don't like when people use chat boxes in their trainings, but I feel like if we're here to create community, if we're here to connect, if we're here to really, really provide value, then that's how you connect with the real human connection, with understanding what other people are going through, because that's how you're of service. Sorry, that was a little tangent. I feel put a lot of pressure on myself too, which in ways stops me from creating from pure enjoyment of creating. And I'm learning to let go of the outcome and create for me. And it's so funny because you don't even know that you're putting pressure on yourself until you're like, damn, this is really not fun anymore. And I'm not saying fun means everything is always going to feel good, that something is not going to be challenging or you don't have any obstacles. No, it just means that you know innately that this is something that you need to be creating. You know innately that this is something that you love, this is something that you enjoy, and that the uncomfortability is just something that you need to go through to level up. The uncomfortability is something that you just need to go through to grow and to reach your ascension. And enjoyment is enjoying seeing how your clients look on their face when somebody buys your product and they're like, oh my God, this was so amazing. This was so helpful. This was exactly what I needed. When somebody read your book and was teleported to a different dimension. When somebody buys your art and the beauty astounds them. When somebody hears your music and it transports them into their body, into their essence, into their vibe. All of those things are valuable, they're important, and they are vital. And where you're not creating from that space, whatever it is you're creating, other people can feel that, and it does not have the deep, profound potency that it is meant to have. It does not have that oomph. It does not have that X factor. And ultimately, that's what leads you to burnout. That's what leads you to not being in fulfillment. That's what leads you to not being in service. That's why it starts feeling icky. That's why selling starts feeling hard, because you're not strong and firm and trusting of what you're delivering, of what you're offering, of the value that you can naturally provide. And I see that with so many women, especially entrepreneurs, especially in the healing space, especially in the creative space, artists, influencers, all on this online space feeling like they're unworthy of stepping into their power, unworthy of using their voice. And if you can't use your voice, if you cannot voice your truth, then you cannot deeply connect to your safety, deeply connect to your being, deeply connect and ground and root in your body and yourself. Therefore, you have no manifestation channels. Therefore, you have no expression channels. Therefore, you have no creation channels. I said that twice, but I feel like it's true. Because going back to my statement of how much power you hold, how much you can wield that power is your energetic baseline. That forms your energetic container, that forms your aura, and it forms how much you are able to hold. And that includes holding money. Right now, it feels like contracting. I feel like creating money will compromise my freedom. That's interesting. Can you expand more on that if you feel comfortable with that? So, after we've gone through all of that, and maybe my long spiel, maybe not, but I find it so vitally important to really explain the what, explain the why, and really get us to connect and understanding before we just give all of the what to do's, give all of the information, give all of the integration, because without context, without perspective, without laying that foundation, then it's just going to fall through the bucket. It's just going to fall through the hole. And by the end of this specific, like today's, it's a 4-day transmission. So overall, through this whole 4 days, throughout the whole 4 days, you'll know how to build momentum in your purpose. You'll know how to actually galvanize your mission. You'll actually have such clarity on what your vision is and what exactly you need to do to get there. And also learning these ancient principles, learning the most important ancient principles, because it's 4 days. I don't want to overwhelm anybody, because overwhelm also leads to inaction. So I'm only going to give you what I feel is vitally important for you to take action on right now. And obviously, this is the open enrollment to Vision Vortex, what I've been talking about for so long. So if you have a problem with me offering Vision Vortex at the end, this training is probably not for you, because I'm just offering value right now that you can tangibly use. And if you want to go deeper on it, then you can offer into Vision Vortex. It's no pressure. This is not going to be one of those things where I'm just talking about my program the whole time. It's not. Vision Vortex is open for enrollment after the 4 days. But right now, we're just focusing on this. We're focusing on mobilizing and monetizing and building momentum for your passion, for your purpose, for what you're meant to do, for your vision, for your calling. Right. But by the end of today's training, we're actually going to know the difference between your vision, your mission, your calling, how to actually value what you create, how to actually differentiate what you offer, and really start wielding that power. Let's go back to the chat. That's exactly how I feel. My husband and I bake and own artisan bakery. It feels so small and limiting for my vision. Oh, I get it. So feeling like making more money in your business and the business that you currently have would trap you in that business. I get that. And ironically enough, that's usually what happens when people come straight out of college or just go straight from high school to jobs. They get security in the money that they're building, so then they're like, okay, well, I can't leave it. Or on the flip side, people don't want to go and get high paying jobs because they don't want to get trapped in it, but then also is also scared of leaving the stability to go to the uncertainty. It's such a conundrum. It's such duality. I love it. And yes, the jobs and work I have found throughout my life requires me to work a fixed schedule and push down my creative expression. It feels limiting and I feel trapped. Exactly. And that's usually why most artists, spiritual entrepreneurs, spiritual women generally, especially creatives, come into entrepreneurship to have your own schedule and have your own freedom. But that's when the masculine energy comes in, because you still need to have devotion. You still need to have some type of schedule. Not saying that it has to be a strict schedule. I do not have a strict schedule at all because I have children and they're very young. So it is still a schedule and a loose schedule on how to get things done, how to meet deadlines or whatever. But being trapped in a system that you feel like is not really working for you or stifling your energy, it creates this energetic and emotional buildup, which causes an eruption. And that is so counterproductive and not really conducive. So I 100% get where you're coming from, Carolina. So talking about today. So a little bit about my story, because I find it vital to really just give you a little background on me and how I came about this. I am a archetype of a researcher. I go deep, 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 deep into research when I have questions, when I'm dealing with my own problems and how to overcome that hump. This was not the first business that I started. This wasn't even the first iteration of this current business that I am in, obviously. But I have had so many jobs, and within those jobs I was creating side hustles to try to make them businesses, having this entrepreneurial spirit but not wanting to leave the stability of somebody creating the money for me that I didn't have to worry about. And what this did with creating my side hustles but still having my 9 to 5 and not fully committing to my purpose and not fully prioritizing my dharma, it led me to honestly make less money and put myself in situations where the money became decreasingly available. It was when I had to work multiple different hourly jobs, take doubles, take whatever job I can get because I just got laid off out of nowhere, or I just quit because I couldn't take it anymore. And it was so many things that were distracting me from my vision, because I knew for a long time what my purpose was, what my path was, and how I was meant to lead. But I was so afraid of the responsibility, so afraid of the power, so afraid of who I would offend or what people would think or who would be possibly manipulated. I don't even know where that came from, by what I'm doing, or possibly hurt or damaged by what I'm doing. Maybe my family won't be safe. It was so many ideas that would come in my mind that led me to opportunities and situations and circumstances that made me feel so worthless, made me feel so undeserving. It made me feel like nothing was ever going to be enough, no matter how much I did. And this state of victimhood, especially when it came to money, I really didn't have it in many other areas besides my self-expression and sharing my truth, and also just making more money. I didn't really have it in many other areas at the time. So my frustrations were growing. They were getting more and more. I was getting more and more irritated. It was messing with my relationships, my friendships, me not being able to really talk to my family, because I was like, why aren't you helping me more? Why didn't you teach this? And just really going through all of these different emotions and different waves. And it's so funny how spirit works, because the kicking point was literally our lease was about to be up. Our lease was about to be up. I had not been working for over a year because of unemployment. I couldn't find a job. I couldn't get unemployment. It was a mess. So we were selling all of our things. We were trading in electronics. We didn't have much in our apartment at all, because we were just such on fence. And it really hit me, because we had nowhere to go. We didn't really want to stay in the apartment, but we had no choice. Really had no choice. The apartment was not keeping up to standards. It was not in health code. This was around 3 or 4 years ago when this was happening. And it was just, I'm laughing now, but it was such a horrific time. It was not fun at all. It was the most undesired, uncomfortable, frustrating, emotionally traumatizing time of my life, especially coming to my home environment. It just wasn't something that I was used to. So I was just meditating and trying to manifest the money so that we would be able to, first of all, just be able to pay the rent, to be able to get renewed. And I was praying to get renewed in this space, or being able to renew my lease in this space where I did not enjoy even living, but just seeing that I was on my last leg and this was the only way I was going to have a roof over my head. It hit me so hard. And it was like, are you even following your vision? You asked for clarity, but didn't actually do what I told you to do. You did not actually follow the purpose that you've been asking from me for a while. So why did you ask if you weren't going to do it? Why'd you ask if you weren't going to follow it? Why'd you ask if you were going to try to dilute it? Why'd you ask if you were going to water it down and just try to do it in the way that made you feel comfortable without still fully going after what you want, without still fully following the path? Because the path is what leads you to the money that you're wanting. The path is what's leading you to the prosperity that you desire. The path is what's leading you to the fulfillment and the peace and the love and the friendships and the family and the environment and the home that you want. All of these things that you're saying you're wanting. And I'm laying out the path to get you there, and you're just not listening. And that's, what did the chat say? Hi from South Africa. I'm basically observing here. I haven't figured out what I want to do yet and feel more like I'm floating and just want to learn because I want to do something. Hi. Well, I hope by the end of this that you're able to drop in and remember what you want and remember what you desire and get some clarity. We always want to do something, but the doing is usually what's distracting us from who we need to be and what requires of us to get what we want, what is required of us to go forward. So saying all of that is that's what hit me. I was doing all of these businesses. I was starting all of these channels. I was starting all of these projects. I was jumping back and forth, but I was not following the vision that I was given. I was not following my innate truth. I was not following my purpose. I was not living in my own energy. I was doing all of these practices. I was meditating every day. I was doing my yoga. I was pulling my tarot cards. I was communicating with spirit, but I was not being and following my intuition. I thought doing all of these external things would make up for the fact that I didn't have the balls to really follow my path, to really follow my purpose, to really, really, really embody my vision and create from this vision and create from my essence in totality. And that's why I had all of these gaps. That's why I had all of these holes. That's why I felt worthless, felt not good enough, felt undeserving, and kept attracting those situations to me that made me feel like abundance and power wasn't even something that was in my sphere. That wasn't even in my sphere of influence. That wasn't even in the dimension or the realm of reality that I had at the moment. So I was like, and I made a decision right then and there to figure out and really come into a place of how I could follow my vision. How can I embrace the discomfort of the not knowing? How can I embrace the discomfort of the instability, and the lack of security and the lack of knowing what I was going to do? How can I go in these jobs and move with intention and not just jump from job to job to job? How can I use these jobs to actually learn and then set up what I need to set up for my actual business? How can I supplement this money so I can actually follow my actual path? My intention changed. Therefore, my attention changed. And therefore, my focus and my clarity changed. And then the actions that I started to take were much more authentic. They were much more in alignment. It was much more natural. Things and opportunities literally started flying out of the air, out of nowhere. Because it's magnetization. It is you being open and ready to receive. It is you being open to help. It is so important to help yourself first and then be open to outside help, however that looks, however that presents itself. I find so many women, especially women I've worked with, people I've had friends, have such an issue accepting help, such an issue with deeply receiving, with deeply surrendering, with really being in co-creation with. Because when you're surrendering to the vision, it's not about if you have the capabilities right now. It's not about if you feel contracted. It's not about if this is resistance. It's not about it's not making you feel good. It's not about that it's boring me. It's not about that you need to seek validation. It's not about any of that. It's really about what you feel in your heart pulled and urged to do. Because once you just accept where you want to go, accept where you're being called to go, where being pulled to go, being forced to go, even because that's how karma works at a certain point. It gives you subtle nudges, but if you don't listen, the situations and lessons get more and more chaotic. So trust in where you're being pulled to go, even if you don't feel like you have the capabilities right now. I notice so many people saying the level of success that they want is not reachable for them right now, but there's something right here. It's a big thing about fact versus feeling, because you are not your emotions, you are not your experiences, you are a soul experiencing emotions and experiencing experiences. You are an outside observer in a sense. So if you look and observe your emotions, observe your experiences, and see, what is this teaching me? Where is this leading me? How can I use this to leverage what I want? How can I use this to leverage my liberation? How can I get this further into my evolution? Instead of using your excuses to prevent you from going to get what you want. And I'm saying this in the most tough love way because I had to talk myself out of this in this way. Use your excuses and turn them into reasons. Replace your feelings with actual facts. And this is not a logical thing. This is not a rational thing. This takes a lot of effort and a lot of consciousness and a lot of awareness and a lot of practice to make it a habitual pattern to be the outside observer and solve a problem from a different level of consciousness. Take your power back by recognizing neither one of these are your identity and not taking things into your identity, because you create from your identity. So if you do not identify as a powerful being, if you do not identify with wealth, if you do not identify with prosperity, if you do not identify with fulfillment, peace, purpose, anything that you want, if you that is not a part of your identity, then it is not going to manifest for you. It is not going to come down from the ethers into the physical realm, because it is not something that is attracting. It is not liking versus like. That is not magnetizing to you evenly. And let me know if this is resonating. Let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if you understand where I've gone so far. Because I see, and I see so many steering away from their vision, steering away from what they want to create, and steering away from their calling when it gets a little too frustrating, when it gets a little too chaotic, when it gets a little too a little bit too much like everything is not working. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm doing everything that I can. So why is it not working? Why is this not happening? What am I not doing? And it's really just coming about switching that perspective and seeing, how am I creating this? How am I not making aligned decisions? Where do I need to evolve? And that's how you take your power back. Changing your perspective to get a new answer. Changing your perspective to get a new sense of understanding, to getting deeper, profound clarity and awareness of yourself. Because that's the healing process that's continuing. That's the evolution. And money is such a taboo topic that we steer away from it, that we steer and ignore it, and put on blinders to it, because we want to do everything else around it. And hopefully this will just take care of itself after I've done everything else. But what I'm hearing is that money is such a profound boundary. It is the only thing that is literally tangible, and intangible is so deeply woven into this society as we've incarnated in this lifetime. It is so deeply ingrained in society, and it's been this way for actually some centuries, some lifetimes. You can't miss it. It's not something that you can ignore. And we could just see that directly set up to how society is that the most disempowered countries are the ones that do not have the resources to fend for themselves. The most disempowered people are the people that do not have the resources, or do not feel or think, or have been taught to believe that they have that ability and those resources. And this could come from your direct experience with money, your direct relationship, your lineage, or just generational experiences with money that get passed down, generational beliefs. If your parents were alive during the Great Depression, they might have a completely different view of somebody that was just born right now in the age of crypto and all of this stuff going on in the world, and when the economy was on the up and coming. After COVID, I was really in survival mode, and I realized nothing was going to change unless I started to take bold steps. Yes, bold steps, and I love that word because it's bold because it's like, whoa, it's so different. It's so different than what you're used to. It's like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? You're really trying to do something different right now. You're truly, really trying to take a step in the right direction. You're really trying to change your reality. You're really trying to do that. So you have to be in tune with what you really want, though, because you don't want to keep creating the same reality, and you don't want to go to a different reality just with the same lessons hidden in the invisible, hidden in the subconscious, because that's still co-creating these same experiences. So I wrote down a list right now of so many things. Actually, I've the top core things that I've seen people in a poll that I did, and also just things that my clients have said to me about how they felt and what they were doing that wasn't really working, but it just felt so comfortable with making money in their business. So just noticing that a level of success somebody else's has, and then try to copy it, aka plagiarizing somebody else's path, plagiarizing somebody else's purpose, creating success in the way that it looks like how they did it. That might have got jumbled around, but you see these big gurus right now in the online space, and it's very easy to follow those tactics of join my program to do blank, 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 like I did. Join my program because I did this. Join my program, get my product because this is how it worked for me, without and then basically copying that and being in that survival mode of just wanting something to work because nothing is working. Then you go going into investing and trying to directly copy somebody else's performance when really that's not your energy. That's not your vision. So it's not going to work for you. I see people steering away from their positioning and them steering away from positioning themselves as a leader, as an authoritative figure, as a person that can help you, or that a person that has created something for you and for service, because maybe you don't feel like it's good enough. Maybe you don't feel like it's perfect yet. Maybe you feel like if they wanted to work with you, they would just reach out to you naturally. Maybe you feel like just having a website is will suffice, and that will get you the sales that you need without actually positioning yourself as someone that knows what they are talking about, someone that knows what they're doing, somebody that's creating from innate embodiment, somebody that has experienced this themselves, somebody that wants to create community. The way that the economy is changing, the way that business is changing, the way that entrepreneurship is changing, and that we're recreating structures and evolution with our consciousness, and evolution with ascension, with evolution with how we desire to live. And people desire to have connections, real connections, and not just being forced something so that that person can make a profit, being forced to do something so that they could just spend their money when it's not actually going to help them, when it's not actually in service to them. So if you don't position yourself like, I can help you, I have the ability to help you, and trust that you can help somebody, then how are they going to trust that you can help them? So that's vitally important. And that's one of the bigger things that I see because of that lack of trust and that lack of being able to really hold yourself in that power. Not paying attention to the numbers and the analytics because it feels like it's getting back trapped into that masculine structure, the toxic masculine, wounded masculine structure. When numbers and analytics have been here, that's probably the most ancient of practices. So numbers is not about limiting yourself. It's about just seeing what is or is not resonating with others because of the form of communication. But we'll get more into that later. Jumping from project to project and not finishing and or mastering one thing. So once one thing's not working and you've been trying it for maybe 2 or 3 months, 6 months, and it's just not working, you just jump to a different project thinking that the project itself is the problem and not maybe the energetics or the backhand or the creation of the project, of the art. You know what I'm talking about. Just generally apply that to the industry that you're in. This is a big one, but not having an intention or a direction, just knowing that you want this general thing, or this general thing would be nice. You just know that you want more money, but not actually having an end direction, not defining what is enough, not defining what is needed, not defining what you value. Using their business to seek validation, watering down their expression, and undercharging slash undervaluing what they offer. And I'm touching on all of this so far, but I find it important to really pay attention to these last three and chunk them together, because seeking validation, watering down your expression, and undercharging or undervaluing what you offer are the prime things that are going to block your abundance. The things that block it is invisible, they're internal. They're unconscious, they're subconscious, because you're doing things subconsciously that are not in the aligned behaviors, the aligned principles, the aligned systems, the aligned actions for what you actually are desiring, because you have not taken in your desires, you have not taken in your vision into your identity. So you're not discerning your decisions, you're not discerning your desires, you're just living in this perpetual state of survival and distraction. So when you're creating from a place of wholeness, when you're creating from a place of integrating the totality of your expression, of your trust, of what you value, of what you're here to do, of your calling and where you're going, and you're in direction, you don't need to seek validation. You don't need to people please. You don't need to water down your expression hoping that you don't offend people. You don't need to water down your expression scared that trolls might find you or something. You don't need to be scared of your power, because those that are meant to be touched by you need to see that power. They need to see that liberation. They need to see that expression, to know that it is possible for themselves. That they are going to get triggered. That's the point. You're not going to change something if it doesn't trigger you. You're not going to change something if it doesn't ignite something in you. Sorry, just checking the chat, seeing where we're going, seeing how we're feeling. Whew. And see, now I've been talking so much. So when you're creating from wholeness, it's the most aligned way. And I'm saying aligned because I don't like using the words best, right, only, my way. I don't like any of that, because none of that is accurate. It's not facts. But creating from wholeness, creating from the totality of your essence, the divinity, the dark, the confused, the chaotic, the love, the light, the healing, the harm. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with synonyms, but creating from just who you are. That's your X factor. That's your abundant activator. That's your sensual stimulant. Okay, that's how you seduce and magnetize what you want. That's the roots of your receptivity. Because you can only offer. You can only put stuff out there. It's like an invitation to a party. It's like a friend request. Even with a house, you can only put out the offer. It's up to the buyer to actually accept it or reject it. But you can always continue to make offers. And you have business. All business is just a place to offer and receive. It is a vessel for your wholeness. It is a vessel and a channel for your creation. And when you're creating money from this place, when you're creating money from this enjoyment, creating from your expression, creating from expansion, then the people that are touched by your work feel that expression, feel that expansion, feel that ease, feel that effortlessness. And they're just like, oh my goodness. And that's an energetic pull. That's an empowered place to invest in your products, invest in your services, invest in your memberships, invest in you. Just like you invest in others and how they help you. And that's what people want to see. That's how they want to be touched. That's how they want to be led. That's embodying your vision. That's stepping into who you are worthy of being, who you are worthy of touching, who you are worthy of, how you are worthy to create. And anybody have any questions? I know I've been talking for a while. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. How's this touching for you? If you've had any mind-blowing moments so far, or what has really stood out to you so far. Because next we're actually going to talk about how to actually begin doing that. And this is why I don't create slides, y'all, because if I create slides, then y'all gonna be confused because you're gonna be trying to read the slides, and I never just go off of what I write. So this is my philosophy when you're creating money, and this is everything that's come is tried and errored, understanding, observing, researching. So much goes into what I bring to you because that's just how I am. That's just how I roll. So to create the income and impact that you desire, you first need to align your vision. As we've said that. Your vision, your mission, and your calling are three different things, and we're going to get to that in a second. But aligning your vision and your calling to the mission modality that is sacred and second nature to you. And sacred and second nature means that it's something that comes natural, is your natural expression, is something that flows out of you and oozes out of you naturally, that you're so in love with, obsessed with, and you could talk about for hours, and you see a unique gap. And that's usually where your vision comes in. That's usually why your mission is why, your vision is what you see, and your calling is what you're being and what you're doing in your unique medicine and doing that. So aligning your vision to the potency of your gifts, because everybody is given a gift, but the way that it expresses, the way that it manifests, and what it's used for and why it's being used comes through differently through your own energetic signature, through your own soul contracts, through your own desires. So when you're using the ones that come second nature to you, when you're using the ones that flow out of you naturally, then you're actually creating the profound and transformational experience, whether it's through art, whether it's through just you being an influencer, whether it's through your actual healing ceremonies, your rituals, whether it's through your offers and actually directly helping people, whatever it is through, that is the transformational, deep, profound experience that you aim to provide. And that's how you get there, is just aligning your vision. And then from this place and seeing the most profound and potent mission modality, you now treat your business like a sacred vessel. You now treat it like a place to hold the prophecy that is your vision, something that is going to come to pass, the prosperity and the potency of your vision. And it is in this vessel that is your business. It is in this vessel that is just a channel. And this is how you honor your power, by honoring your business and doing the things that your business needs in order to succeed. And what your business needs is created through your vision. Like there are basics that are like pretty basic throughout the things, throughout all business, throughout all industries, but how that is tailored, how that is created, how that is woven into your vision and comes through and manifests, now that is all up to you. And then you have a monetary mechanism that supports you, supports your prosperity plan, and supports your vision. So you do have that space to create. So you do have that space to play. So you do have that space to expand and liberate yourself without feeling trapped and limited, so that you can actually tap into the essence of your power. So you can actually feel like so good from what you're creating. When you're creating, it should give you more energy. And if it does not, then that probably means we're not in the right groove yet. And it's just about finding that groove. And that's a very basic way to find it, is to align your vision, treat your business like a sacred vessel, and then create a monetary mechanism. So when you do all of that, that is a container for your feminine. That is the simple, most simplistic masculine structure to create, so that you have some type of system, so that you have some type of stream, an avenue of attraction. That's what I like to call it, as is an avenue of attraction. Because when you're aligning your visions, when you're treating your business and honoring your power, and then having that monetary mechanism to support you, then what you want to create is effortless, because it's naturally attracting. It's naturally coming. It's a straight road with no traffic, right? So this simply allows you to really, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Let me move this. So that really allows you to really make with ease, make you not feel limited, make you not feel frustrated. It really helps you tap into more of your creativity, because as a feminine expressed being, you need a lot of space. You need a lot of time to create. You need a lot of movement through the waves and through your cycles is not the same as men expressed beings. It's not the same as male dominant beings, because their cycle is different than yours. It's different than feminine cycles, just like the sun and the moon. The sun rises every single day and it looks the same relatively. Even if you can't see it through the clouds, you know that it rose and you know that it sets. But but the moon looks different every time it rises and every time it sets. Every time it rises and sets, every 3 days it's in a different sign. Every 2 weeks is in a different cycle, just like your moon cycle. So you express yourself differently. So you need to have a business, you need to have a money mechanism that supports you in those different ebbs, in those different waves. So you're not feeling so overwhelmed and stuck in survival mode. Because if you have that support, then you don't need to survive. You know that you are supported innately. Yes? We already talked about that. The vision creates the success path for you. And when you look at anybody else that inspires you, anybody else that has the wealth, like Oprah, I think is a really big one, or Rihanna, who just made a billionaire, or whoever else you look up to. I don't really pay attention to people much, so I don't know who like is a universal person for people to know, but you can look at anybody that is successful, anybody that has reached their level of success, fame, and notoriety and what they enjoy. They all, me and my husband were just talking about this actually, they all speak on their vision. They all speak about how focused they were. They all speak about how they had to really make decisions. They had to really change their intentions. They had to really become a new person and step into this identity. They all have said it in different ways, in different forms. They all had a vision. They all had a way of doing this for themselves, yes. But they also had it for a bigger reason. They also had it to be in service of the entertainment industry. Sometimes doesn't get enough credit because sometimes people are doing it, like I said earlier, to show what's possible to others, to get in the limelight, to prove that it is possible, to give others a permission slip to live to their highest expression, to live to their highest potential, to continue to reach for their dreams, reach for their stars, and really understand that that is possible for them. But when we're brought up in this society and the conditioning of, no, it's not possible. No, you need to stay small. No, you're not going to do this because it's going to offend me. I wanted you to do this. I wanted you to do that. And having all of these expectations and pressures on yourself to maybe go and find a good job, maybe have a good career, maybe have your business make this much, insert whatever amount of money. But that's not the wholeness that you desire. That's not the wealth that you want from yourself. That fact versus feeling. Okay, I feel like I'm going to let somebody down because I'm not doing what they want me to do, when the fact is they want me to do that. That's not what I want to do. You see how you can separate that differentiation? Yes, I might offend them, but that's not my intention. The fact is that is their dream, not mine. The fact is, whatever, insert here, whatever feeling, and become the outside observer of that experience. So your vision and how to actually get into your vision. And I'm so happy that so many of you have stayed on so long. I'm glad that you guys were able to make it live. Just makes it such more innate, energetic exchange and experience. So starting with your vision. And when you're coming to your vision, know that you don't need to just start. You don't need to just go and do something. You don't need to just get the ball rolling. There's so many teachers saying, just do something, just start, just go for it. But when you're starting and just going for it, you wind up doing a lot of unnecessary tasks. You start focusing on unnecessary things. You have the lack of clarity that you need to really make decisions in quote unquote alignment. Because what are you aligning to? What are you offering? How is this different? Others' expectations of me are so heavy. Oh, this smoke is getting in my face. I was like, why is my eye hurting? This instant burn so quickly. That one is so heavy because when we come out of the womb, literally out of the womb, we already have expectations on what we should be doing. We already have expectations on my name, what gender I am, what I identify as, what I'm going to be when I grow up, what I need to do for my family, how this is going to change their dynamics, etc., etc. And those that keep piling on, they keep bringing a table, they keep building more bricks and more bricks on top of each other. It keeps coming layers on layers on layers. All of these expectations on your back, and you're carrying them with you when you're trying to go somewhere new, carrying them with you when you're trying to go somewhere that has not been created yet, when you're trying to go somewhere where the expectations that people have for you have not even been created yet in their realm of reality. So I hope that helped really understand that and just bring that to more of awareness. So coming back to your vision, and I'm almost done, guys. So I'm so glad that you've stuck with me so far. Watching the replay, so glad that you've stuck with me so far. We're almost done. We're at the end now, but I really do like interacting with the chat just because it just makes it better for me, and just really knowing that I am speaking to you guys and that it's really resonating with what you are needing at the moment. So your vision is what you see. And I'm going to go high level and then go down. Your vision is what you see. Your vision is how you envision, is how you want and envision and can see the world going. You can see your industry going. You can see your life going personally. It's cosmic, it's clear, it's concise, it's literally inarguable. Even if you cannot put it into words, you hear it, you feel it, you have the sensations in your body, and you know innately when you're moving towards it or when you're moving further away from it. And karma is here to show you that you're not moving in the direction of your vision. You're not moving in the direction of your purpose. You're not moving in the direction of fulfilling this cycle. So you don't just start. Get very crystal clear on your vision. And you get crystal clear on your vision by understanding your calling, meaning what you want to do, who you're here to be, what you value, what you stand for, how you desire to be expressed, what you desire to create, how you desire to show up for people. That's your calling, the gap that you see. And then your mission is, okay, but why do you want to show up for people like that? Why do you feel like this is vitally important? Why do you see the world changing in this way? It's the answer of the why question. And that why keeps it clear. That why is your motivator. That why is what keeps you going in the chaos. That why is what keeps you going in the frustration. The why is why you continue to come back, because it is a piece of your wholeness. It is a piece of your soul contract. It's a piece of what you meant to learn, your purpose. That is a piece of that. So your why is why you see what you see, why you're doing what you're doing, why you're being what you're being, and what you desire to learn in the process, how you desire to serve in the process, and how you're contributing to the evolution and expansion and elevation of society through what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because yes, it starts with you, but you're becoming the change that you desire to see. So what is this change? Fully see it. Write down your values. Write down your what you see in other people and how they act and what inspires within you. Write down the sensations that come into your body when you're thinking about your vision, when you're thinking about your trust, when you're thinking about your expression. And think about it in a right now sense, but also think about it in an overarching sense. 10 years, 20 years from now, I get a little morbid in my client sessions, but I let them know, and we meditate from their deathbed, from their like passing through the threshold and ascending from this plane. You looked back and you're seeing your life play out on this screen. Did you live up to what you wanted to do? Did you follow your true no? Did you follow your destiny? Did you follow your vision? So you're seeing this play out on this screen. What did you see? What do you see for yourself? What do you see for others? What do you see for the collective? What do you want to see for your family, your lineage? How you desire to create a society for them? Your mission is why. Why? Write down the experiences that you went through. Write down the experiences that are currently happening in the society that really piss you off, that really upset you, that really ignite any strong emotions. What is coming up in your reality right now that you don't like? We talked about earlier turning excuses into reasons. So you don't have enough time for yourself. Okay, now that's a reason to create. People are not in the right roles in society and this is corrupt and we in a matrix. That's an excuse, but make it a reason. You didn't have the financial stability growing up, but you want to give that to your kids, but you don't know how to do it. You didn't learn. Well, that's the reason to do it so they can learn, right? So you didn't have the opportunity to express yourself. You didn't have the opportunity to step into your power. You were belittled. All of these reasons, all of these stories that you're telling yourself, all of the things that you're holding on to, but make them your reasons to continue. Make them the reasons to grow your abundance. Make them the reasons that you step into your money mindset, your wealth identity. And what this really activates is noticing that there are three different energies to money. The energy where you're initiating, the energy where you're that's the action, the going forward, the moving forward, the planning, deciding what you want. It's the fire energy. It's the go, 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 go energy. It is the one that brings in. It is the one that creates the ability to receive, the ability to cash flow, the stream of income. That's what stimulates that, is the cardinal initiating energy. And then you go into stabilizing your energy, fixing that energy, creating that foundation, creating this floor plan, creating this energetic baseline of what you will and will not accept. That's your reality. I learned this beautiful exercise a while ago of saying what you have now, what you want, and where you at now, and what you will no longer accept. That's your energetic floor. That's your baseline. And what you want is your ceiling. So the point is to get this baseline connected with this ceiling. And that's when your identity, that's when the believability, that's when it comes into full integration and embodiment. And that's how you can stabilize it. That's how you can create foundations. That's what you build upon. But that's income, that cardinal, that action, that going, that doing, that finding out, that gaining clarity, that becoming pro, that's becoming a master. All of that comes from just taking action intuitively and in alignment, so that you have something to build upon, that you have something to learn from. Because the next energy is transcendence. It's the continuous infinity of income and stabilization without you having to do anything. It's about molding and mutable. I'm not going to use that word because I can't pronounce it right now, but being mutable in a way and being moldable, being able to adapt to the ever changing systems and money and the evolution of it. People have had the evolution of money. We're going to go into it more tomorrow, but it has gone to barter, to coin, to dollar, to now crypto. Money is literally always changing. Even how the paper money is printed, how it's created, having things online, bank accounts, stocks, bonds, all of these things have evolved over time, and it will continue to evolve as our consciousness evolves. So if you're not setting yourself up to have that cash flow, setting yourself up to have that foundation, but also not leaving room to really weave it and make it passive, make it. Sorry, I missed most of this. I rewatched everything again. Ironically, a business opportunity literally came knocking at my door just now. I fucking love that. I fucking love that. That's so amazing. That weaving that infinity, because money is not this thing that you get and then you hold on to and then you hoard it. That's why we're going to go more deeply into mysteries of money and how you can possibly be repelling money tomorrow, what money is, why it exists, the boundaries that it creates, the evolution of it, and all of that good jazz. But right now, very high level, very top of the pyramid, just so we can get an overall overview, and then we're going to peel back the layers for the next 3 days. But having that, it's like the yin and yang fish, just moving effortlessly with each other. But they also have a time to go away, to disconnect, but also change and grow and evolve. And they can do that because they're so naturally in sync. They're so naturally empowered that they know that anything that they do and create, they have left room for. They have planned for this change. They have planned for this transcendence and this transformation, and that they are well supported no matter how the tides and the waves move. Because when you're operating from principles, when you're operating from totality, when you're operating from wholeness and your vision has already predisposed the fact that the consciousness is changing. It's already predisposed the fact that we're ascending. It's already predisposed the fact that you're going to change and evolve. So your purpose, your vision is going to evolve with you. It's going to expand with you even. And as you unfold, as you shed, as you step into new identities, what becomes possible for you expands as well. Because right now you only have a certain realm of reality. You only have a certain perspective. And as you grow, master, change, work with more people, create more, take more action, your perspective changes, your sphere of influence change, your sphere of impacts change, and your aura starts to radiate more and more as you step into more of yourself, as you step into more of your innate abundance. And that's the level of monetary mastery that I've been really studying, implementing, sitting with, surrendering, letting the consciousness really unfold in my life and in my circumstances, because it did not happen overnight where I was just in this place of instant abundance, instant prosperity, healing my relationship with money. It unfolded over time. And even just trusting myself that that craft will unfold over time as I allow my focus to shift, as I allow myself to slow down and not have to do everything at once and not be stuck in this survival mode, because survival mode only breeds more needing to survive. It's not rooted in security. It's not rooted in safety. It's not rooted in love. It's not rooted in esteem. It's not rooted in power. So you're just going to continue to manifest circumstances, opportunities, relationships with money, relationships with all things, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. You're going to continue to manifest situations leaving you feeling unworthy, not enough, undeserving, nothing is working, and continuing and always fighting for your survival. But once you step into your power, once you feel comfortable wielding your power, once you integrate this embodied wholeness and create from that space, oh my God, the expansion, not only for yourself, but for the people that you touch, is unmatched, because it's coming from such a place of purity, such a place of unlimited possibility and infinite prosperity. Because abundance means all of and more. It's not just this amount of money, this set amount of circumstances. It's the constant evolvement of wholeness. And I love that. So that's all we have for day one. And for day one, and we have a little activity. You don't have to do it, but I just love integrating things so that it's not just more information that just flies by. And just seeing how you work with this, seeing how you sit with this, seeing what has come up for you today, is that fact versus feelings exercise that I really want to talk about. And this is going to be in your recap email, so you can check out for that in the link, not in the link, in the email box when you get sent the email after this. But the facts versus feelings, seeing what facts are coming up and what feelings are coming up when you talk about money, when you talk about making money, when you talk about what's possible for your business, why you can't follow your dreams, why you can't follow your vision. But I want you to do that after you've created and written down your calling, which is what you do, what you want to be, what you value, how you desire to show up, how you desire to help people. Writing down your calling, and then next to that, writing out your mission, which is your why. And then from both of those places, really trying to, even if it's just envisioning, even if it's just in a meditation, or just writing it down, whichever way feels the most easeful and bringing to awareness for you, but really writing out your vision, really writing out what you see for yourself, really writing out as much as you can to provide yourself with as much and clarity and details as possible. What is enough? What does wealth look like for you? What do you desire to have in your life, in all aspects of your life? This is a holistic view. It's not just about money. How you interact with one thing is how you interact with all things, and all things of who you are, all of your dimensionalities, all of your facets. That's wholeness. Remember, we're here for wholeness, wealth rooted in wholeness, wealth embracing the totality of who you are, of your essence. So when you're able to see your vision, your mission, your calling, and then seeing the facts versus the feelings, you're making the invisible visible. You're making what's in the subconscious more aware. You're bringing up what comes up in your body so that you can transmute it into something that you can use, something for your greatest and highest benefit, something to unlock a new level of yourself. This is Scorpio season, by the way. So this is just so fitting to transform and shed an identity. Let it go, because you have to let go to let in. You have to release that old perspective. You have to release those facts. You have to release those feelings. You have to release that perspective, that viewpoint, that belief, so that you can see it with a new lens, so you can operate from new behaviors, operate in a new with a new discernment filter. And then this would prepare your mind and your perspective. So tomorrow, when we talk more about the mysteries of money, why money exists, why how it exists in business, its role, and all of the good things, how you could possibly be repelling money, and how to heal your relationship with money on a deeper and more profound level. We're going to be going into that tomorrow, and I want you to have a new lens, a new perspective, and all of that good jazz. So this was so great, and I love everybody that interacting is. So please, if you have any questions before we close it out for today, I'm going to sit here just a little bit, because this was just, I have my candles going. I have my grounding crystals. You want to see? These pyramids are my favorite to like ground. Ooh. They're my favorite to ground myself, just because the triangle shape, sacred geometry and everything. Then I have my ancestor candle burning, and boy, was they talking today. Just flying through with whatever people needed to hear. Thank you so much. Hello, Rachel. You're welcome. I hope I see you guys tomorrow. Please let me know what. No questions. Everything is so clear. Please, if you don't have any questions, can you let me know what the most profound thing or resonant thing that you took away from this experience today, or what you want to work on, or what you're going to do? Tell me something. How you feeling? What you thinking about right now, then, if no questions? Because sometimes I do have a tendency to make things so clear. No questions. I'm so glad it's clear, because my aim is to be clear. So I don't want to leave you hanging, but I would love to let's like see how you're feeling, see where you were at in the beginning of this training versus where you are now, like just gauging how you're feeling. Ooh. And if nothing, it's 3:33 here. I love that. Love the angel numbers. Started at 2:22, ended at 3:33. Whew. Sorry, I don't have any questions today. Just want to say thank you and love your content. They have helped me so much. That's amazing, and I love that. Well, nobody has any comment. What you said about creating true value for others resonated so deeply. Really want to get there. Yeah, because when I started my business, so many people online were like, well, you have to create value for others. You have to give away all this how-to content, which is actually how I started my YouTube channel. I think I've taken a lot of them down by now, but it's been difficult for me to transition out that space and actually create. It's not been difficult. It's been more liberating for me, but not on the same thing as everybody else. Of creating value is not just providing information, and sometimes it is, and that can be helpful too. But if it's just putting glitter on shit and putting glitter on already subconscious beliefs and subconscious behaviors, then you're just going to be filling an empty bucket because you haven't filled up, you haven't patched the holes. Providing value is just deeply being able to transform the life of others, being able to get them to see something different, being able to entertain them, being able to allow them to see something so beautiful, like in their products, having these candles that they don't want to create, just something so minute or something so major, all create value. It's just about being very innately okay with the value that you're creating and not comparing that to somebody else, thinking that there's a hierarchy of value when it's really not. Yes. So if that's all the comments today, I'm going to give it like one more second just because I really like it. And if you have me on Instagram, please tag me and let me know that you were here so we can say hey. Or if you watch the replay, do the same thing so we can say hey. But no comment. So I'm just going to end the stream now. Thank you guys for showing up live and really connecting with me through the chat. See you guys tomorrow, and be looking out for the replay email. It should be sent in about 2 to 3 hours. And you'll have the replays, and they'll be available until November 6th. So feel free to come back and rewatch them. You always get information from watching something another time because you have already opened up your lens and opportunity of receiving. So if you want to rewatch them, they're definitely available and open to you. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo.